YouTubers! Mike Martin's here, Mike Martin's channel. Happy Monday to everybody. I got a really good article here for you guys that's looking to tackle the problem with the housing market in Vancouver, because Vancouver is struggling. They have roughly, 28,000 empty units, empty homes, and it's becoming a really big problem for the Canadian proper to own anything in their own city. And a lot of people left. Infill housing, an untapped solution for BC's supply shortage. Report. One of the solutions that many local politicians talk about when it comes to increasing the supply of housing without building towers everywhere is infill. Unobtrusive, I can't even read that. You guys know I have no education, so additions. So basically it's additions to the house, like garages, extra extensions on the back of the house, and basically what it is stuff that doesn't get in the way, and it's livable, and it's basically what's happening in New Zealand, where a bunch of people are living in garages and stuff, and now the Southern Hemisphere is coming up with winter. Okay. Additions throughout laneway houses. So, like laneway houses. Suites in existing homes, granny flats over garages, and duplexes and triplexes. But many new analysis of the infill housing in the region shows that many Lower Mainland cities make it difficult for owners and builders to create those new kinds of housing in single-family zones with long permit times and sometimes huge fees. Yeah, that's the little hiccup. And that's a problem, because the region's single-family housing occupies 2/3 of all land in the Lower Mainland, making it an untapped resources, said Bob DeWitt, Chief Executive Officer of the Greater Vancouver Home Builders Association. But this doesn't give people the chance to own their own place. It's going to give people a chance to expand their existing properties that they own to rent out. So let's continue reading here. This is not the whole solution to supply problem for that. You need more condos, more of everything. But it is one solution, Mr. DeWitt, whose association report was released Monday. The association, which did research for the housing approval study together with the land records tracking company Landcorp, found that the proportion of infill projects on the region occurred for 15.5% of the new housing stock in the region in 2016. That had barely increased 13.5% in 2012. The process's times varied wildly, from 7 months in the city of Laneway for the average infill project, 24 months in Langley, processing fees from 18 large, in Port Coquitlam 61 large, in the district of North Vancouver. It's a big deal, people. Many builders end up doing straight one-for-one replacements of single-family homes when they build because of complications, said the study. Mr. DeWitt said his organization did the research the third year it has studied an aspect of construction process in the Lower Mainland cities to demonstrate the difference between cities and spur them up to improve their practices. His association is recommending that all cities adopt a set of best practices in order to speed up housing approvals without sacrificing quality. So I know there's a couple of illegal ones that are going up. I read an article a few months ago about that, illegal entries, illegal this and illegal that, and they're being asked to be taken down. So this is basically targeting renters, basically getting renters out there, or getting renters a place to live is what it is. These best practices including pre-zoning for new kinds of housing, the way Vancouver has approved laneway houses as an outright option for single-family lots in the city, a special nexus-type stream for applications for experienced builders and architects, online permitting and coordinator, and acts as a single point of contact for a project. The association's report notes that many cities still have a minimum lot sizes of 50 to 80 feet, more than 33-foot standard in denser parts of the region. So they're looking to get people faster through a fast tracking system to get these laneway home bills, granny garages or whatever you call them, or those canopy things over the garage, and trying to get more people a place to live. Those lots could easily accommodate more duplex or triplex housing if the cities would open the doors to that by modifying their zoning. Recent census data has showed that some of the region's single-family zones are actually losing population because there are fewer people per household compared to 10 to 20 years ago. Families are getting smaller. People can't afford to have kids because people are so worried about how to pay their rent or where to live. And this is not good. The report also makes the case that the region is falling behind in building housing for new people moving in and 4,000 units a year. Its analysis concludes that only Vancouver, Richmond, and the city of North Vancouver built more supply than was needed for the anticipated population. Every other municipality fell short amount needed for the population projected by Metro Vancouver's regional growth strategy. Mr. DeWitt said that many municipalities have introduced policies to encourage infill housing. So I get it, but what about people that want to own? What about people that want to be part of the ownership, you know? Vancouver, which has 75,000 single-family houses within its boundaries, has been the most successful at that, in that part because the Laneway house policy in Surrey with 80,000 single-family houses is second. The report ranked municipalities on an overall basis, not just on their infill policies, but also their processing times and fees assesses which are best poised to implement infill housing policies. In the ranking, Burnaby comes in first, although it has a specific infill policy for 27,000 single-family homes. Langley Township of New Westminster ranks second, third, and the Vancouver comes in at number 9. Surrey doesn't make the list of the top 10. So I'll leave a link below. There's a video to watch. The video is not, it kind of doesn't really cover what this is kind of trying to say, but it's people want ownership. People are tired of renting. This is basically extra income for $16,000-$20,000 permits for what? For what? So you could build a room for somebody to live in? Come on, they got to be more. The pricing also has to be more affordable. It's got to be more fair, right? Then you get a lot of people going off the board and doing things illegally without permits and doing things without inspections, and then that's when chaos breaks loose. If you watched my video before about discussing that, it was about 3-4 months ago, where people are building illegal suites to try and combat this whole problem, with housing issues in the city of Vancouver. I think the millennials have been already massaged into believing that they can never own, and then now they're being massaged into believing that they should never own a car. They have transit. What do you need a car for? So people are being massaged, into believing that this is not necessary. All the money you make should just go right to rent and a little bit to food, a little bit of, to mac and cheese to get you going, Let me know what you guys think. A lot of big corporations and companies leaving the city of Vancouver because they can't fill the positions. Also, positions are not being filled with qualified workers. And the empty homes is also glooming over this article. Why are they mentioning the empty homes that could be filled? Comment below. Your comments are much necessary. And yes, I can't pronounce some of these words here. I should go to school and learn English. Thanks for watching, guys, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.